Welcome, food and fitness lovers, to Tina's Ageless Kitchen. I'm Chef Tina Martini. You might know me as the Medicine Chef. Welcome, food and fitness lovers, to Tina's Ageless Kitchen. I'm Chef Tina Martini. You might know me as the Medicine Chef. Well, today in the Ageless Kitchen, we're looking at something really tiny and really powerful. Yep, it's the chia seed, and I'm sure you've heard of it by now. It's everywhere. Chia is the Mayan word for strength, and that's exactly why the Mayans named it Chia, because this is what gives you strength, or it can contribute greatly to your workout program as well as your everyday activities. Now the chia, as you can see, is kind of dry. It's like any other seed, a poppy seed or anything like that that we might use in baking or cooking. But the chia has so many great properties as far as nutrition. Now it's really perfectly balanced with omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, and it's got a lot of good qualities as far as amino acids to help us build protein, to help us recover from those chasing of kids and our workout as well. Now this is considered runner's food, which I thought was really interesting because it has the ability to create energy stores, but it also has the ability to help our body make complete protein. So we're gonna do a fast and easy breakfast that's gonna be ready for you basically, except for a few steps when you get up in the morning. So here's our first prep. I'm gonna take this really cool jar with a lid and I'm gonna put the chia seeds in it. We have to bloom the chia seeds first of all. Now if you try to eat them dry, they can get stuck in your throat. So it's not advised at all to try to eat dry chia seeds. We need to hydrate them with something, be it water, juice, broth, and we're going to use coconut milk today to make a coconut chia pudding. Now, nothing could be more simple. I'm going to add a little bit of coconut palm sugar, which is a low glycemic sugar. It's really great for baking and that kind of thing. And I'm just going to add maybe a teaspoon or two, a little bit of vanilla extract. Now, the coconut palm sugar can be swapped out cup for cup, just like any other sugar that you would use in baking, except it retains its minerals even after we bake it. Minerals are very important. We've talked about it before, chefs. Every disease known to man can be traced back to a mineral deficiency. Coconut palm sugar is great for two reasons. It can be swapped out cup for cup like any other sugar that you might use, but it also retains its mineral composition even after baking. And minerals, chefs, we've talked about the importance in our diet of minerals. All right, so I've got some coconut palm sugar. Honey would work here, whatever you're using to sweeten your baked goods and your sweet treats. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of coconut milk. Now, just put in maybe about a quarter cup, as you saw, of the chia seeds, and then a full cup of whatever liquid you're gonna use. Now, I chose coconut milk because I love the richness, the great body that coconut milk has, and again, many phytonutrients here. Lauric acid is looking like one of our #1 ways to take care of HIV and AIDS. As a matter of fact, coconut milk has brought the viral count in AIDS cases down so low that you can't even detect the disease. So really lots of hope here, especially with things like arthritis and other degenerative diseases. So we've got our coconut milk, coconut palm sugar, a little bit of vanilla extract, and I'm just gonna stir it up. You can put the lid on and shake it however you wanna do it. And then you're gonna put your lid on and put this in the fridge, and the chia seeds are gonna do the rest of the work. So this is done. Couldn't be any faster. I'll tell you what one of my favorite is using the dark chocolate almond milk instead of the coconut milk, or you could do half and half and have kind of like a coconutty chocolate pudding when you're done. So again, into the fridge with that. All the work is going to happen overnight. Now, another part of our parfait recipe, if you will, are the steel cut oats. Another thing that's really making its way onto the nutrition scene. Now, we all know rolled oats, and they're great as well, but these little steel cut oats are even more powerful with their nutrition. The biggest kind of objection that I get from the steel cut oats and adding those to our nutrition program is that they take a lot longer to cook than the other kind of rolled oats that we just spoke about. Now there's a lot of good stuff in the steel cut. They've got the amino acids and lots of minerals and that kind of thing. Great source of fiber. And one of the things that we really want to focus on with those is the beta glucans. Now what I'm going to recommend that you do after you put your chia pudding in the fridge is get a little bowl of your steel cut just like I have here and just add some good quality water in, put a little plate on top, and that way you're just going to keep anything out and put that on the kitchen counter, let it sit overnight, and like rice or beans, they're going to hydrate and they're going to cut your cooking time in half. So no more excuses with the steel cut oats, chefs. We're going to soak them overnight just like we do any grain, any bean or legume, and again, we're cutting our cooking time in half. So we've got our pudding in the fridge, we've got our steel cut oats soaking, and we're going to put it all together when we come right back.
Hi, I'm Chef Joe Seminaire with Taste is Television. Want to talk to you about an incredible licorice product that you will be amazed with, and it's called Australian style licorice. Now today I'm using their gourmet black flavor, but as you can see here, they have a variety of different flavors starting with gourmet red, green apple, etc. What makes this licorice so special is it's soft, chewy, and tastes fabulous. Now gourmet black is my favorite, and I'm going to pair it with a steak stir fry. So first I'm going to take a hot pan, I'm going to dabble some olive oil in there. I'm going to add some onions, some peppers, carrots, salt, and pepper. Now at the same time I'm cooking down these vegetables and looking to get the sugar content down, I'm adding the licorice diced up. As you can see, I have my gourmet black licorice, and immediately when the licorice hits the flavor of the hot pan, you smell the aromas coming up. And you can smell that black licorice. Black licorice goes incredible with filet mignon, and that's what I have here. Sliced filet mignon in which I've seared the outside, then julienned it. And we're going to put that in that stir fry as well. Give it a couple of seconds. And at the very end of this dish, I'm going to take some balsamic vinegar and deglaze the pan. This is going to give all the flavors such incredible flavor together. You have the balsamic, the flavor of the licorice, and then we have a bed of rice here in which we're going to put our stir fry right over the top. And what I like to do is take some licorice, garnish the top with it, and now you have another incredible recipe using Australia-style licorice. Taste this.
Welcome back. All right, so today is all about the powerful, mighty little chia seed. And again, that's why the Mayans named it Chia. Chia means strength, and it's going to strengthen you and your family. So let's get to putting the parfait together. That's our first thing. We're starting out with breakfast today, which is, as they say, the most important meal of the day. So I hope you're doing a good breakfast for yourself at home. All right, so I've taken the chia pudding out of the refrigerator, and magic happens overnight. And the chia seeds bloom, they plump up, and they become very gel-like. This is another factor that features the benefits of the chia seed with our digestive tract and intestinal health, that kind of thing. I know, not really good breakfast conversation, chefs, but you know me, we're all about the cleansing of the body and focusing on wellness as well as delicious food. That's why it's delicious medicine. So this you're going to find really great, and your kids are going to love it as well. It's something that they can do with you and pick their own flavors and whatever. You can put dried fruit in, anything. You'll see how versatile it is in just a moment. We talked about the steel cut oats as well. That's another element of our parfait, and of course you're going to go to fooditv.com to get all the recipes after the show. All right, so I'm going to uncover the bowl, and we had our steel cut oats in here hydrating overnight, which again cuts your cooking time in half, and that gets you out of the kitchen and on your way with your kids. So we've been cooking it in our little saucepan here, and you could do a little bit of fruit juice if you wanted to sweeten it. You could go back to the coconut palm sugar that we used in our chia pudding. Again, all those great minerals are retained even after cooking. Now for me, I really don't care to have it sweetened because I'm gonna layer some fruit, and today I have mandarin oranges, another phytonutrient powerhouse, chefs. We are just loaded with medicine all over the counter today and gonna start our day in a great way. All right, so you see that they're nice and creamy now. The steel cut oats have hydrated and cooked, and they've got that really nice smooth texture. Let's get something attractive. Parfait glass if you've got it. I've just got a regular drinking glass here. You don't need anything fancy to create delicious medicine. All right, so we're gonna just set that right here so we can work in our glass. Again, our completed steel cut oats are the foundation. Now what about adding some more phytonutrition? How about some dried cherries or dried cranberries? You could also do fresh berries. Hey, we're right in the middle of summer right now, and so that would be a great alternate as well. Maybe some sliced strawberries or whatever your family likes. Blueberries are fabulous. Now I've got the dried cranberries in here, and cranberries really great vascular health, really great urinary tract health as well. So the chia, the cranberries, and the fiber, the beta glucans that we talked about earlier in the steel cut oats, everything's working together to create that delicious medicine. I'm gonna go ahead and just layer this in. It doesn't have to be neat. Again, the kids can help you hold the hot pot, of course, and let them layer in as much as they like. So I'm gonna create quite a foundation of the steel cut oats, and then I'm going to take a little bit of our mandarin oranges. Now the Kentucky School of Medicine tells us that mandarin oranges are one of the greatest fruits, especially because they come in a can, and we want to get the organic that doesn't have the BPA in the can if you're able. Now it's handy, it's convenient, it's something the kids love. I'm just going to kind of spoon them over the top and spread them out so that we can see them. Whoops, I've got one escaping. I've got two escaping, that's all right. We'll get that in a minute. And then we're gonna put the chia pudding on top and just kind of create those beautiful layers that I talked about that every parfait should have. All right, so you can see that these have bloomed really nicely, and I'm just gonna spoon that richness over. And again, all the work done for you while you sleep. I'm making quite a mess in the Ageless kitchen today, chefs. That's all right, though, it's part of the fun. All right, and then we can go with another layer of the oats if we wanted to in fruit, or we could sprinkle over more fruit. We could also do a little sprinkling of our coconut palm sugar. How about we just decorate with one of our mandarin oranges or two and make a nice presentation, however you like, a little flower or whatever. And that's gonna be quick, easy, and nutritious, something really rich and creamy. Feels like it's something we shouldn't be eating, and the decadence is just part of the magic here. So you get creative, chefs, whatever fruit you like, whatever milk or liquid you like for your pudding. It all happens overnight, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about a way to use the chia in its bloom form instead of high calorie, high dense oils, and we can cook in a saute pan just like we would with a good quality olive oil and get the benefits of the chia. We'll be right back.
For generations, our family has perfected authentic Mexican dishes, from seasoned chicken and beef to carnitas, arroz, and barbacoa. The Cardenas family has always followed the traditions of their ancestors when it comes to cooking. From the beginning, they've created authentic Mexican dishes from scratch using recipes that have been passed down and perfected over generations. This tradition of gathering around a great meal with family and friends is what Del Rio Foods strives to pass on. From our family to yours.
All right, and we're back for lunch, and I'm ready. Are you? I'm always hungry, chefs. We're gonna make some great food today in the Ageless kitchen. Some more delicious medicine coming your way. Now, the thing I have in front of me, you may or may not know, and that's a shiitake mushroom. Now, shiitakes are really the superstar of the mushroom family. Mushrooms in Chinese medicine are connected to longevity, and so we definitely want to get some of these into our program. Now, the shiitake mushroom really really famous for its ability to create macrophages. A macrophage is an immune cell that has the ability to identify and clear away potentially cancerous cells. So we gotta love it for that. We've gotta love it for its great source of iron. The shiitake really is the go-to choice for protein for vegans. So I'm just gonna wipe this little guy off. These are pretty clean. So if you want to, you can use a little bit of water, but I prefer just to kind of keep them dry and more meaty instead of spongy feeling. I'm gonna snap off this stem, and it's just that easy. So go ahead and just clean all the stems off. Now you can use the stems to create broth. Remember, chefs don't throw anything away. So you can put those in the freezer for later use, and you just clean a little bit of the dirt off or trim the end of the stem. Really super easy. But I do like to keep things like that because they're perfect thrown in a stock pot later for some more flavoring and nutrition. So we just wipe these guys off with a little damp cloth, and you see a little bit of dirt coming off, but really not anything to worry about. We need to play in the dirt more, don't we, chefs? All right, so I'm gonna get all the stems off, and then the shiitake caps are ready to go. We can just quarter them. You can see how nice and meaty they are. Now, if you were going to use dried mushrooms, this is the perfect opportunity to use the broth, if you will, that you pulled off of those dried mushrooms, just a little warm water or vegetable stock over them, and they rehydrate right away. We can take that liquid off of our dried mushrooms, which would now be hydrated, of course, and we could use that to bloom the chia seeds, and that way you're sowing the flavor of the shiitake mushroom through the entire recipe, and we want to always work to build layer upon layer of flavor. That's our job in the kitchen. All right, so as you can see, these are bloomed, and they're really gelatinous, and they've got a nice smooth, creamy texture to them, and this is what's going to act as our oil in our saute pan. Again, chefs, we want to think like a pro, take the fewest steps possible. So I've got the heat waiting for me, not me waiting for it. The pan is already hot. We're going to just put some chia seeds right in. Now you can notice that the chia moves right around the pan like oil would, and we're just going to break up the shiitakes any way that you want. I'm going to put some zucchini in for more minerals. Great source of minerals, because why? They grow in the ground, of course, and some onion. Now remember, when you're chopping onion or garlic, chefs, you want to leave it out on the counter for 10 minutes. That increases the phytonutrient power of the quercetin and the allium compounds by at least 50%. So we've got our chia seeds in, we've got some yellow onion, I'm going to put purple onion in. Now we talked earlier about cranberries that were in our steel cut oats. Now the cranberries are the color of blood, the purple onion the color of blood, and we definitely want to take advantage of those anthocyanosides, and they strengthen the vascular system and help build the immune system. So I'm just going to move that all around the pan. And again, you can see the chias really move around the pan in the way that oil would. We're just going to do a saute just like anything. You could add a little bit of broth in here if you wanted. I've also got some really beautiful Japanese purple carrots. I don't know whether you've seen those before. Sometimes they're called rainbow carrots, and they've got every color under the sun. Again, what are we talking about? Something the color of blood. Anthocyanosides, beta carotene, one of our most powerful weapons against cancer. So we'll just give that a little flip in the pan and get that action going, and then we'll cut up our shiitakes. Now you could strip them out or you could do them in quarters. I'm just going to cut them in quarters. You'll notice I'm holding the blade of the knife, not the handle of the knife, and we've talked about that before. The handle is beautiful, and I'm sure it was meant for something, but it's not meant to be held on to. If you want control of your knife, chef, remember that you always hold the blade of the knife. All right, so I've quartered these. Let's go ahead and get these bad boys all done up. And again, you can see that meaty texture, that great meaty flavor, and we're going to add some really delicious heartiness to our saute. I'm going to turn that fire up just a little bit and get the heat going, and you can even just tear it up. Look at that beautiful texture. Now the shiitake mushrooms, we talked about the macrophages and all the good cancer-fighting things, but also the addition of longevity to our nutrition program. And I think that's what we're all looking for, is to stay younger longer, right? So the shiitake will help us do that. We've talked about the iron and how this really is a go-to product for vegans, because you could stuff these little caps, you could do a saute like we're doing here, you could grind them up in your food processor and use them more as a ground meat, if you will. So lots of beautiful potential here with the shiitake, I can't say enough. Now you notice that the carrots had a beautiful little shape on them, so let's do something else that's a little chefy, and that would be the Macedon cut. Now there's all kinds of beautiful cuts that you can do with your knives, and we want to work on our knife skills always. Let me just clean this board a little bit for us to work on, chefs. So I've peeled and I've cleaned both ends off of the carrot. I'm going to hold the carrot this way on the cutting board, and I'm going to start with my knife at an angle. So you're just going to turn, and then you turn the carrot and the knife. Turn and turn again to where you started. Turn again and create that angle. So you're going down from the tip of the carrot and working your way down in this beautiful pattern. Of course, this would work on asparagus. It would work on a number of different things that are long in nature. And as you can see, you can set them up on the plate in a very beautiful, arranged way, and it makes it look more like a chef's presentation. So that's the Macedon cut today. All right, let's take a look at what's happening here. We're looking good. A mushroom just jumped out. That's okay. You can use your high heat scraper, whatever you like. But the point is that your vegetables are sauteing beautifully. And if you could get the aroma in the studio, chefs, it's really beautiful. All of the different vegetables together. All of the different colors tell us that we're loaded here with phytonutrients and all of the great things that really help our immune system to kick into full gear. And again, it's how it looks, how it smells, and ultimately how it tastes. I'm going to go ahead and continue the saute and get it ready for the plate. You go grab something that you enjoy to drink, and we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back, food and fitness lovers, to the Ageless Kitchen. Now let's review what we've already done. We've had our breakfast, which was our chia and steel cut oat parfait. Really delicious for a snack or a meal. We talked about all of the phytonutrients and the power of that mighty little seed, the chia seed. We're gonna finish it up with a nice cozy drink right now, make some hot chocolate, and then we'll take it all to the plate, chefs, because after all, presentation is everything, isn't it? All right, so what I've got here is I've got some almond milk coming to a brisk simmer in a saucepan, and I've got some chia seeds that have already began to bloom. I've got some dark cocoa powder here, and it's the unsweetened kind. The reason I like that is it's got a lot of the flavonoids which prevent stroke and again really strengthen our heart and our vascular system. But I also like the unsweetened cocoa powder because you control the sugar, you control the sweetness, so that's another good point. All right, so I'm just gonna dump that in, and of course you're gonna control how much you like real cocoa-y or just a light hint of chocolate. It'll be your choice. And then I'm going back to the coconut palm sugar that we sweetened our chia pudding with. Again, it retains its minerals. And I'm just gonna add a little bit. I like kind of the bitter bite of the cocoa powder, but if your family likes it sweeter, remember this is low glycemic, great for the diabetics, and it's also really high in the mineral compounds. And what a way to get your minerals with a little bit of that coconut palm sugar. As we bring this up to a brisk simmer, chefs, the almond milk is going to start to thicken, and it's going to get nice and frothy, just like we get it from our favorite coffee house. All right, so we've got the cocoa in, we've got the coconut palm sugar, and I like a little spice with my hot chocolate. My mom used to make it this way, and that's the cinnamon, nutmeg, and a little bit of allspice. Now these are Mother Nature's antibiotic, and we want to keep in mind that all medicine came from the herbal and plant world, so why wouldn't we go back to that in times when our body needs a little extra help? Now the cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, those kinds of things rev up the function of the liver, but they also keep bacteria from adhering to the mucal tissue. If bacteria can't set up shop, well then it can't do any harm and it can't make us sick. We eliminate it naturally, and that's the way nature intended it. We talked about one other ingredient earlier, chefs, in our parfait that did the same thing. Can you remember what it is? It's the cranberry. And we know that for urinary tract health, but in general, the cranberry, blueberry, and pomegranate keep bacteria from adhering to our tissue. So we've got just a whole bunch of good medicine going on today with our menu. All right, so this is hot enough. You start to smell the aroma of the cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice, or whatever you like to use. Just cinnamon would be perfect here. Once you've got that aroma going, you know you've released the essential oils and the action of the ingredient is taking place. All right, so I've got this nice and hot. We're gonna bring it over to an attractive mug or whatever kind of fireproof or heat-proof vessel you like. And you're gonna see how nice and thick and how the body has come up with our bloomed chia seeds. Doesn't that look beautiful? It almost looks like pudding. It reminds me of when I was in Italy. They serve their hot chocolate the consistency of pudding. It is to die for. And again, as you simmer your almond milk, it's going to get that same body. Now I've got a little bit of whipped coconut milk here, and yes indeed, you can make whipped cream out of coconut milk, and we get the lauric acid and all of the great medicine, the medium chain triglycerides, which is the fat content in coconut. That's exactly what your fat receptors are meant to uptake. So the body uses it for energy, and it doesn't sit around on our bodies like saturated fat. All right, so I'm just gonna spoon a little bit of that on top, and doesn't that look decadent and wonderful? The medicine there is just the best you can get, and something so delicious and beautiful. I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of our spice mix on top, and there you have it. Our almond milk benefits, strengthening the heart. We've got a good source of vitamin E. We've got all of our great stuff going on in our coconut milk whipped cream, along with the mighty seed, the chia seed. And you can see how plumped up it is, giving even more body to our hot chocolate. So enjoy a sip of that, and we'll be back in just a moment to bring it all to the plate.
The authentic recipes for all of our products are signature to La Morena. The chilies are literally hand-picked for each can. Everything is manufactured in Mexico and imported into the US. La Morena is best known for its quality and authentic flavor, giving our users a taste of home. Stock up on flavor with La Morena.
All right, welcome back to the Ageless Kitchen. We got a lot done today, as we always do, chefs. I really thank you for spending this time with me. We started with our easy breakfast, and anything's easy in the kitchen if you prepare in advance, and that's part of the thing about thinking like a pro chef. So we've got our chia and steel cut oat parfait, and you see the nice layers of the mandarin oranges, and I did the dried cranberries. You could do cherries, and you could do fresh fruit as well. I'm going to leave that creativity up to you, because after all, a recipe is just a guideline, chefs. I want you to put your spin on it. All right, so that's our breakfast. We went to lunch or dinner, or just a really hearty snack of a vegetable saute. This is a vegan's delight right here. We didn't use any vegetable oil of any kind. We used our bloomed chia seeds in place of high-calorie vegetable oil that a lot of times is not processed in a way that we would use in the Ageless kitchen. So definitely take advantage of that opportunity in cutting those calories and adding even more amino acids to your after-workout program. The shiitake, of course, is our go-to protein and iron source for vegans. And then over to our decadent hot chocolate that we wrapped our time up together. We've got nice plumped up chias that give extra body to our simmered almond milk. You could do coconut milk here, hemp milk, anything again that you like that your family is using in their nutritional program. I've got the whipped coconut milk whipped cream and a little sprinkle of Mother Nature's antibiotics, cinnamon, allspice, and nutmeg. Well, I hope you've enjoyed your time with me as much as I've enjoyed my time with you. We really have created some delicious medicine today, from breakfast, lunch, and of course, a great warming drink that's a snack and full of phytonutrition. Well, I'm Chef Tina Martini, the medicine chef. I'll see you next time in the Ageless Kitchen. Here's to your health.